Hey, so we're gonna pick some stinging nettles now. So nettles are super good for this time of year for allergies, for all kinds of inflammation, and it makes a really good tea. So the tricky bit about it though is that they are stinging. So let me flip this around. And these are our nettles here. And if you touch them without gloves on, you can see all these little hairs on there. All those hairs are like little hollow spikes of silica, and they make it feel kind of like a bee sting or like a burn. It goes away pretty quick, but it definitely hurts. So we plant these around our fruit trees to help with the nutrition of the trees. So just like a person, the trees need a good immune system and that kind of thing. So the girls are gonna cut some, and then you just want to cut the good green leafy parts, and we're gonna put them in a bowl. And when after you boil them, the stingers go away, and you can use the tea just as a good kind of tonic for allergies. So there's this weird kind of crazy thing. You can take the stem of a stinging nettle and cut it open, and the juices in there, they say, will take away the sting of the stinging nettle. But I don't understand how you're supposed to cut open the juices of the stinging of the thing without getting stung more. So, all right. So we decided we're gonna mix in some mint with our stinging nettle. So this is a patch of mint that we have. So go ahead and get a bunch of that and put it in there too. And then you can see we got another little nettle patch here, and then we have some more mint. So we just try and plant all the herbs along the base of the trees to help the trees get the medicinal properties, and then we have nice little herb patches for when we need them too.
So we're here processing some stinging nettle that the kids and Drew picked from below. It's in one of our guilds, which is a guild is where you plant a tree, and then under that you plant other plants that are beneficial for the tree, but that you can also eat and use and that kind of thing. So stinging nettle is a really good one to put underneath a tree, like a fruit tree. However, it stings, so you have to be a little careful if you're going to use it. But it does have a lot of medicinal properties. This also has mint in it, which I can smell overwhelmingly. Well, so mint has a lot of peppermint.
And that's why you rinse it right there.
There's a giant spider up the step. Get it out. Ew.
Aww.
We'll put them back.
Okay, so the nettle is really good for like allergies and stuff, which they probably already told you too. So you can make a tea out of it. You can dry it and crush it up.
We've never dried it. If you dry it, does it still sting?
I don't know. I'd read my herbal book and double check just to make sure, but I doubt it.
Why don't we just test it?
I think by the time you crush it up as a dried herb, it wouldn't sting.
You could dry it and then put it in a blender or something.
Yeah, definitely. You can even eat it on a salad. You can eat it like spinach, like cooked spinach.
Oh, we did do that.
You can steam it. Yeah, we've eaten it that way actually. And you can put it in smoothies and.
It was pretty good as a cooked spinach kind of thing. You can't go wrong with butter and salt.
Yeah.
You just put some butter and salt in a pan and just cook it enough to make the stingers go away.
So it's often considered a weed, but it's got so many great benefits that if you just know what to do with it, then your weed becomes your garden. This is so simple. The water is heated, but not too hot.
We took it to 170. I guess from what I've read, you don't want to go above 180. Is
that will what's the word I'm looking for? Maintain the benefits of the herb that you're using for the most part. Like tea, you don't want to get it too hot.
So we're gonna put this in here and let it go for. My thought it was 15 minutes. Is that what you would do? 15 minutes?
Just like tea, really.
Yeah.
Covered.
Sure, Eliza. So this time for 15 minutes. Yeah, and you're covering it because you want this steam to stay in here, because right now you're basically making essential oils in the air, right? So let it go for 15 minutes, and then we'll add in some honey, and we just keep it in half-gallon jars and drink it, and that tea, and that'll help with the allergies and gives you all kinds of other benefits. Levia's homeschool project this week is actually learning more about stinging nettles, so we'll have even more information about that.
So while we were waiting for our tea to brew, which we think is done, we learned a little bit about nettles. Thank heavens that we have a lot of books in our library that have to do with herbs. Levia read one book. What did you read about in that book?
They can grow to be 5 to 6 feet tall.
Really? No. We've never seen ours get that. Okay. Well, I have this other book. She didn't read this one, I did, but it's called An Illustrated Guide to Herbs by Anne Kruger. And it's one of my favorites. I go to it. I was actually looking for another plant that I'd seen to identify things that are growing around our property. But it has a whole page about nettle and the history of nettle. And actually, my dad had told me a little bit about this when he was here last time. But the fibers in the nettle can be used for a lot of different things. They used to use it to make like the strings for bows, is what my dad had told me. This says they used to use it. It actually is a little like hemp, and they'll use it to make fabrics and weave nets. And it talked about you can eat it on a salad or you can make a tablecloth out of it. So it's just really versatile. Very high in vitamin C and iron. So right now, you know, when people are talking about we need vitamin C, this is a really good source of highly absorbable vitamin C. So probably the reason that it's actually very good for allergies actually is due a little bit to having that really high vitamin C content. And it also has a lot of silica in it, which is one of the reasons we plant it next to the plants, because it draws out a lot of silica, which is really good for the health of the plants. But silica is really good for us, for our nails and our joints and for our hair. So it actually says that it keeps your hair from falling out. If you have an issue with your hair falling out, it could be a good option. But also has been long known as an antidote for arthritis. And I think
gout,
probably
right?
for a similar reason. Yeah, and gout was on the list too. A lot of things are good for gout, interestingly enough. But yeah, so.
Oh, and then tell them about what it said about the soldiers using it?
So the soldiers, when it was freezing outside, they would take nettles and bang it against their arms and legs to help increase circulation.
To warm
Because
them
they
up.
were, because they were cold, they were freezing. And it also said people would make their own like home brewed beer, nettle beer to ease rheumatic pain. And nettle tea is still considered helpful for arthritis and gout, yeah.
So we got a few projects coming up with nettles. A weaving project and a beer project. It's,
Maybe
yeah.
so, I don't know, we'll see.
Stay tuned, we'll see what we can make. Put it in the jars. Super simple. If you don't have one of these are great. We also have like a stainless steel one.
Oh, funnel. That's a canning funnel. Specifically, it's a good size for a wide mouth or small mouth jar.
And then we have the stainless steel one. That's also a good one. I like using it better than the plastic one, but it's a little bit, it's not quite as easy as the big mouth here. And all you're going to do is just pour the juice in there, ladle it in, and that's it. And then we'll put that in the refrigerator, add honey to it, maybe add a little, I'll show you the whole process.
I think the one tip is don't let it steep too long, because just like any tea, it'll get more bitter the longer it stays in there. So.
And keep the temperature low so that it doesn't get too bitter. And we'll get a bigger ladle because that's ridiculous. But that's it. All right. Thank you guys.